On trends today, ASUU suspends 2-week warning strike. Senate erupts in heated exchange over abortion bill. And UK freezes over 100 bank accounts linked to MFM. Hello and welcome to another episode of Trends with LJ, where we analyze major stories shaping leadership, justice, and economic growth across Nigeria and Africa. My name is Omoyeni Ujeifu. Now don't forget you can also be a part of the conversation by following us across all platforms on @LJ Nigeria. Joining me is the guests whom I shall be introducing after the break. Stay tuned.
Camera rolling. Light set. Sound check. And action.
Hello everyone, welcome to today's program, a program where we get to talk about the daily affairs around legal issues with intent to educate.
This is the perfect space to create professional quality videos, recording news, podcasts, and all media content. With top-of-the-line cameras, studio lighting, soundproof spaces, we provide everything you need for a seamless shoot. Our fully equipped studio ensures high-quality production every time. Enjoy a comfortable, air-conditioned environment with professional-grade gear and expert support. Contact us now or visit our Abuja location to reserve your spot.
Welcome back from the break. This is still Trends with LJ, and I have in the studio with me once more Dr. John Kamyang, a communications expert. You're welcome to the studio.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for always doing this for me. Now to our first story. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, has suspended a 2-week warning strike just 10 days after it began. ASUU President Chris Biwuna announced a decision at a press conference in Abuja, directing lecturers to resume work immediately. According to him, the move follows what he described as fruitful engagements with representatives of the federal government during last week's negotiation. However, the union has given the government a 1-month deadline to fulfill all pending commitments, including the renegotiation of the 2009 ASUU federal government agreement and other unresolved issues affecting public universities. Dr. John, do you think this 1-month ultimatum will push the government to act very fast and swiftly?
I don't want to make little or small ASUU.
Okay.
But there is nothing new that has happened. It's the same rhetoric, the same scenario playing out over and over. And that is why I have said that, I mean, if you've applied the same strategy 17 to 18 times and the outcome has not changed, it is predictable, then you should know that there is need to tweak that approach. 1 month will pass, nothing will happen. Some 2 months down the line, ASUU will come out again and say they are going on strike, down tools. And the truth about it is that, as our elders say, when 2 elephants fight, it's the grass that suffer. It is the young Nigerians who are seeking a better life by acquiring educational exposure that are the ones who end up suffering. That's why, and worse off is the fact that our educational system is purely theoretical than practical, or it's not. It hasn't changed in terms of its models operandi, and that's why most of our students leave the shores of this country and they excel better, because over there the practicability and the ability of what they have learned to mirth, is more eye-opening over there. So I don't know. I would just advise Nigerians to watch. Students, take advantage of the 1-month window. Do what you have to do. So I knew that before they called or they started the strike action, some students were about to write exams. So go back, write your exams, and keep your fingers crossed and hope that, yes, government will fulfill its side of the agreement, and your educational progress continues, or it becomes a case of sleeping one eye closed, one eye open.
Okay. One thing that actually bothers me is the fact that previous government, this government, we still have the same issues. You think even if there is a change of government, in the next 4 years, do you think this issue will still linger?
It boils down to where the government prioritizes education.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
That's it.
if you look at the budget, just looking at that budget, the document will tell you where the priority of government is, across body. In the FCT, for instance, one would have never anticipated that a FCT minister will wake up one morning and say he wants to grab land from the University of Abuja, which is supposed to be the one of the beautiful landscapes, so to say, treasure points of the FCT. So it just tells you education from the government is just lip service. Now they are coming out with all kinds of policy. You don't need maths when you're an art student, and it just tells you, where do you get all of that? I said it here on one of the editions of Trend. There is mathematics in arts. I gave a simple example. If you are going to do a life scale or a life-size portrait of a person, you're going to scale the passport photo of that person to be able to proportionately get the eventual picture you're going to use. And I know this because I graduated from the School of Arts, Yaba College of Technology. So you cannot say that there is no need for mathematics, in arts. So it just tells you, I'm sorry to say, I just wonder where they get these ideas from. Who did they consult? What is the process that has led to the final conclusion of some of this? And that is why the lecturers, to be honest, they don't really have a choice. But I would expect that for people who harbor that link between intelligence and academics, they should be able to come to the fore with superior arguments, solution-driven arguments, not at every point in time always coming up to issue a strike action. I have said, and I maintain, strike actions don't work. They don't work. Test the system. There are provisions in the law that make, in the Constitution, in the rule of law, that make it, if you press those buttons, it will put pressure on the instruments of government and governance to do the needful. But every time you call a strike, they already know the end of it. They know what will happen at the end. So they just wait for you. When they shout, okay, let it not look as if we are insensitive to their plight. Okay, let's come to the round table. And at the end of the day, the same conclusion.
Okay, now to our next story. A mild drama unfolded in the Senate on Tuesday between Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, and Senator Adams Oshiomhole after Senator Natasha attempted to contribute to the debate on the abortion bill. Her remark led to a sharp back and forth involving Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Senator Adams Oshiomhole, with the chamber momentarily descending into chaos before calm was restored. Let's take a look at the video.
Kogi Central. So this borders on abortion. And
yes, Senator. Your mic.
Mr. President, we have been tutored over and over that when a matter has been concluded and you have dropped the gavel, in this particular case, to allow for more conversation, if you grant exemption to distinguished Senator Natasha, then you must extend the same extension to us, in which case our rules will become meaningless. I think the rules should be obeyed.
Dr. John, from this video, you saw what happened. Senator Natasha was attempting to speak, and then Senator Oshiomhole stood up and stopped her from talking. Do you think women's rights in Nigeria are really being men are really being marginalized in this country?
You asked a very good question, because I was about to say that if we allow this to continue, it is a very poor showing of the Red Chamber. It shows that there is a deliberate attempt to silence the voice of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. One, because she's a woman, and two, because she has shown defiance to the leadership of the Red Chamber. And this also proves the conversations that the Red Chamber has become somewhat of a cult. And anybody who does not align with the cultish style of operation of the Senate will always be victimized. This is definitely not this is definitely not democracy, because the fundamental foundation of democracy is the respect of the rule of law and the respect of rights of every individual and group. Senator Natasha is not a senator because her name is Natasha. She's representing the good people of Kogi Central. So the more they do this, they continue to deny the people of Kogi Central a voice in any conversation that occurs on the floor of the Red Chamber. That is what they need to understand. Senator Adams Oshomole, who is supposedly, quote and unquote, an elder statesman, should know better. You know, he should be at the forefront of fair, transparent, equal dialogue on the floor of the Senate. Senator Natasha has raised a number of questions regarding a number of bills and points that should be discussed in plenary, but there is this subtle, you know, deafening silence. All of a sudden, everybody forms ignorance or deafness in there. And this is where I challenge every Nigerian who is represented, whose senatorial district is represented in this, is it 10th Senate?
Yes.
This is the time to test the instruments of the law. If your senator does not engage in meaningful, the subject of abortion is key. It's about life or death. It's about the well-being of women. It's also about the well-being of infant mortality. So it is not a conversation that should be overlooked. It is a conversation that should be essential. And that is why every time I get the opportunity, I ask this fundamental question. What is the life of a Nigerian worth? This 10th Senate continues to behave in a manner that suggests that maybe their own lives are far superior to the lives of well over 250 million Nigerians. And it's insulting. It's insulting. Senator Natasha has the same rights that Senator Akpabio has. She was voted in the same way he was voted in.
My question is, what about other women? Because from the video,
because the women do not want to be exposed to the humiliation and insult that Natasha has been has continued to face in the Senate. Let's call a spade and not a farming instrument. This is nonsense, arrant nonsense. And I feel highly insulted because I am a Nigerian. Senator Akpabio comes from my state. It is it is disrespectful to womanhood for him to continue to act in that manner because he's a Senate president. So I want to ask my former governor and now Senate president, please, what precedents are you setting as a leader of a country that 75% of the population are young people? What precedents are you setting? Is this how democracy operates in the civilized clime? These are fundamental questions.
Exactly.
And I expect the people of his senatorial district to begin to ask questions, because there are women in that senatorial district.
And I really want to crave the indulgence of other women in the Senate. You people should speak up. Don't leave it in the hands of Senator Natasha alone, because most likely she's not been listened to.
She's been unduly victimized.
Exactly. So she
has an opinion.
Other women should
the fact that she is a senator, let's even assume that her contribution is going to sound stupid. she has a right to express her contribution. And I am surprised at a Senator Adams Oshomole allowing himself to be used as a tool to cow the voice of Senator Natasha. And it is wrong. And I am happy that all this is happening in the full glare of not just Nigerians, but the world.
The world at large, yes.
So I think I need to put it clear. There is nothing we do that we will escape. When we do good, we will receive the reward. We do bad. This mindset that our political elites seem to have, to think that they can continue to subvert the wishes of the people and get away with it. Let me shock you. Karma, they say, is a B. I leave it at that.
And to our final story, the United Kingdom's Charity Commission has frozen the assets of the Mountain of Fire and Miracle Ministries International. In a statement released on Tuesday, the commission said it took the action after finding out that the church trustees failed to properly manage the organization's finances across its UK branches. The commission, which oversees charities in England and Wales, said it aims to protect public trust by ensuring transparency and accountability in how religious and charitable bodies operate. Dr. John, generally, what do you think of this story?
How does a church own 100 accounts, bank accounts? You know, I'm sorry, but I think it's high time we begin to take serious the idea of separating state from religion and beginning to put very stringent measures in place to control some of the excesses of these churches in the name of whatever we practice, Christianity or Islam, because it is becoming embarrassing. Some churches have become fronts for fraud. We've seen pastors, this year alone, we've seen a number of pastors go to jail. Some pastors fingered. And sadly, prominent Christian figures, because once you carry that tag, pastor, or general overseer, you control multitudes. So I'm beginning to wonder, okay, let me pose this question to the overseers of the big churches. Because as a Christian, I think it is the fundamental question that governs the existence or that faith we practice. If Jesus was here today, please tell me that Jesus will have a church that owns 100 bank accounts. It's as simple as that. What would Jesus do? Please tell me, justify to me by the word of God, Genesis to Revelation, that Jesus would own a church that will have 100 bank accounts.
Let us wait till Jesus comes then.
Sorry?
Let us wait till Jesus comes.
No, Jesus will. I'm throwing it to the general overseers, the pastors, senior pastors, that will, because this is what two things will happen. Is either it becomes a talking point, or somehow we'll let it slip through the cracks. Because once the subject of our faith comes on board, that's where Nigerians become very vocal. Mr. John, Dr. John has blasphemed. Please, if I have blasphemed, prove it to me by the word of God.
But I think Nigerians find it difficult to hold our religious leaders accountable. I think it's
because they have psychologically positioned themselves using the word of God as the instrument to imprint in our minds and somewhat in our spirit that they are representatives of God on the face of the planet. So the respect that we should give to God and God alone, we have now giving it to pastors. A lot of things are wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of things are wrong. I have videos of even other men of God who will tell you, no pastor should be without a functional vocation outside of ministry. Why shouldn't you work? Even the Bible tells us that Brother Saul, later became Paul, was a tent maker. Don't forget, the disciples who later became apostles, They were fishermen. They were carpenters. They had vocations. They did not depend on the pulse of the church to survive. But today,
The case is different.
the case is different. The case is different. And I would love to have a conversational, exchange with some of these pastors to truly justify where they got that, principle that they practice now. So if Jesus was here today, please justify to me by the word of God, the rhema of God, to let you know that I have also served in ministry. Justify it that Jesus will own a church that has 100 bank accounts.
Okay, that's where we wrap up this episode of Trends with LJ. Thank you, Dr. John, for this wonderful, wonderful session.
It's
and
a
thank
pleasure.
you to our
Always.
viewers for being part of the program. Don't forget to follow us on @LJ Nigeria across all platforms. My name is Omoyeni Ojeifu.